Hey guys, welcome back to Papa Prepper. T here. Good Tuesday morning, one day closer to Friday, I suppose. This morning, I'm gonna kind of take it back. All right. Um, I've been seeing a lot of, articles and whatnot that there apparently a lot of people are waking up, which means there's a lot of people that are brand new to prepping. So I'm just going to kind of take it back to the basics this morning, okay? Because I mean, it don't matter what you're prepping for, like economic collapse, a nuclear war, uh, natural disasters, just genuine all-out SHTF, EMP, cyber attack. It really doesn't matter what the emergency is as long as you're thoroughly prepared. Okay? And what I mean by thoroughly prepared is cover every base. I really don't understand how you can prep for just one specific type of event because you're going to need, especially just the basics. You're going to need the basics to just survive in any given situation. I mean, it's nothing different than what you need in your everyday life, except for you're going to have to prepare for it. Make sure you're already stocked up on it. You can't just run to the grocery store and get it. And a lot of my viewers, this might be kind of a yawn session for you guys. You guys have been in the game for a long time. Y'all know what to do. You've been doing it for years. A lot of y'all have been doing it, before it was cool, so to speak, And not that it's cool now, but a lot more people are waking up to the realization of it's going down. It's going to happen. And a lot of people now realize that they're not ready. So, I'll go ahead and say this before I get much further. If there's anybody that yourself that could use this information or that needs to be woken up, invite them to the channel. Let them sit in on, a couple of the videos. It don't necessarily have to be me. There's a lot better video or a lot better channels out there than me. But just make sure that you guys are trying to open as many people's eyes as you can. And I'm not saying letting them in on, your secrets and what you've got and how much you've got. I mean, that's your own, that's your call. But I'm saying that we need to get as many people on board and ready as we can. So, with all that being said, we're just going to kind of get back to the basics, And now I've heard this, the so-called anti-bug out movement, where a lot more people are just going to stay hunkered down where they're at, bunkered in where they're at, bugged in, whichever term you want to use. To all of y'all that are new, that is when, your home is your castle. Whatever comes your way, you're going to ride it out there. You're staying in your home. You're not going to give up your ground. You're going to make your possibly be your final stand right there. Okay? And for a lot of people, that's not a choice. There's a lot of senior citizens, disabled, handicapped, a lot of folks just can't bug out. And a lot of people can't afford to bug out. A lot of people are having trouble just making their bills right now, let alone trying to find somewhere else to go to. So, this anti-bug out movement, it's a great theory, and I understand it. I mean, that's our plan. We are going to stay here. But if we are in imminent danger, like if we get wind that there's a convoy of, troops on their way out here to mandate vaccines or, something like that, or come grabbing our guns and stuff, we're out. We're leaving. You know, the only thing other than that is if it was a complete SHTF shutdown, grid down, and we were out of food, then we're going to do what we can to get out of here and go seek refuge somewhere. But with all that being said, it might come down that you have no choice, that you've got to give up your home and you become a refugee. So I've just got some basic things here. Kind of in an order, but these are and there's not, I'm not including everything on these lists. I mean, there's going to be, there's always somebody that has to point it out that, well, what about this and what about that? And, I'm making this video for anybody that is brand new to prepping, and the last thing I want to do is overwhelm somebody, with saying, don't try to get this because you're not going to find it. There's none left. And, they'll figure it out. They'll figure that stuff out when they get to it. What I'm here to do is pass on information to point them in the right direction of how to do it. Okay? So you have your basic skills. Okay? And you need to work on this just in case. That's why it's called SHTF. Shit hits the fan. And in that scenario, everything, it's just going to be chaos. Okay? For the most part, it's every man for themselves, right? Every family for themselves will be the case. So you're going to want to have a plan of some sort, whether you intend on bugging out or not. Because like I said, it could come down to you have no choice. So would you rather take the chance and bug out and get somewhere safer, or would you rather your family stay confined in your home and slowly starve to death, or worse? So you need a plan, okay? And for this plan, you have to try, give it your all to keep a positive mental attitude. Because, if you go at this like, it's pointless, we have nowhere to go, there's nowhere for us to go, what good's that going to do? We're still not, you might have people there that can help you. You could, I would rather lose my family knowing that I tried every last ditch effort as opposed to staying at home and watching them starve to death or die of dehydration or, many other things that are worse than dying could happen to them right in front of your eyes. So I would much rather know that we didn't make it and it was not from the lack of my trying. Okay? So you got to have a plan. You have to keep a positive mental attitude. Okay? You have to set goals. Say if we have to bug out, when we reach our location within the first 24 hours, we need to have this, and this set up. We have to be able to do this. And then I want this done within the first 2 days. And within us being there a week, I want this established. And, you've got to have goals. You can't just go into it blind, and just, because then everything is just going to be a cluster when you get there. Okay? Everybody's going to be trying to do 15 different things when there's going to be an order of things you need to get done. Okay? You have to prioritize. Two of the main things. You want to keep hydrated and nourished. So that's one of your first basic needs of prepping. Okay, that goes into your food and your water supply, a safe water supply. Okay, even if it's, okay, say today or tomorrow, whatever, is your first day of prepping. You know, if you don't have, you know, firearms and ammo and stuff like that, you can give that a little bit. Okay, that is a very important part of prepping. You have to have a means of defense. Okay, but there's nothing to defend if you have no food and water. Okay, so say you're gonna start prepping today. As soon as you get off work or whatever, you're gonna hit Sam's Club. I personally, if this is it's like, this day and time, what we're going through right now, and you're just starting, excuse me, guys, I would load up at least 6 of their, I think they have 48 count cases of water for like $3. Okay, I would get as many of those as your vehicle can haul, as long as you can keep them indoors, keep them from freezing, things like that. That would be one of my top first purchases, is a bunch of bottled water, and non-perishable foods, of course. And non-perishable foods, you should already know what I mean. Long-term storage food, like freeze-dried food, dried goods like beans, rice, things like that, canned goods, anything with a very lengthy shelf life. Okay, you're gonna want to get as much as that, and don't go maxing out credit cards and stuff like that if you're just starting out. Well, don't do that, no matter how long you've been doing it. But if you're just starting out, don't make it more stressful on yourself than it has to be. Don't create more debt, more bills. Just, you got 20 extra bucks at Sam's Club, that's at least like 6 to 7 big cases of water, and possibly a big bag of flour, stuff like that you're going to want and need. Or say, you got 20 extra bucks, go to Aldi's. Okay, maybe get 2 or 3 smaller cases of water, but a bunch of canned good, beans, rice, stuff like that. You don't stress yourself, because if you stress yourself, you're only going to make it worse on yourself. You're going to find yourself running in circles. Okay, so that's the first, couple things of making a plan. When you're making a bug out plan, you're going to want, if at all possible, you're going to want somewhere with some source of fresh water. Whether it be a lake, a pond, a stream, a natural spring, something like that. And it's not always going to be a possibility, and that's, you're going to have to, if you can't have somewhere near water, you're going to have some way to bring water to you, as in like the way of a rain container or catchment system. Okay, you can Google that, YouTube it all day long on how to make a rain catching system out of near nothing. Okay, even if you're down to just using 5-gallon buckets at a time, anything you can to catch as much rainwater as you can. You're going to have a plan of how to do this. And if you know that you can bug out this certain location, go ahead and build your water containment or water catchment system. Have it up and running. Have, 2 or 3 50-gallon barrels full if you can, as much as you can catch. You're also going to want to know, way before you bug out, how to purify and filter your water. And again, you can Google, YouTube it all day long. The possibilities are endless, okay? But you need to learn a couple different ways of purifying and filtering your water, okay? And ideally, and this is just for consumption, okay? you need 1 gallon of water per person in your group per day. And that's just consumption. That doesn't factor in, if you have to clean some dishes or, wash your clothes or take a bath or, wash yourself off, brush your teeth, whatever it is you got to do that takes water. That 1 gallon is just for you to drink per person per day. That's a lot of water, folks. So you need to be, like I said, if you're just starting this game today, you need to advance as quick as you can, but in a calm fashion, okay? Don't stress out. Then you get into your food, okay? Now, your food is, like I said, you're going to want to buy things with a very lengthy shelf life, and learning to preserve and can food now, if you're able to get the the supplies to do it with, is a very good thing to start doing it now. Even if that means just buying produce at the grocery store and canning it, whatever it is you have to do. You don't have to grow it yourself to can it. You can go to the store and buy tomatoes and peppers and radishes, whatever it is you're wanting to can. You don't have to grow it yourself to can it, okay? But you're definitely going to want to learn how to do that, because if it's true SHTF and we never go back, to the way we're used to, you're going to have to somehow preserve your food to get you through the winter. And don't rely on that first growing season, like, oh, I got enough to get me till I can get a garden going. Well, that's not guaranteed, okay? You're not going to go out, especially if you've never done it before, you're not going to go out your first attempt and have a nice, big, beautiful garden to can, pounds and pounds and pounds and quarts and whatever of food. It's not going to happen, okay? You need enough food to get you through a while. And you might ask, well, how much food do I need? All of it. All of it you can afford without putting yourself in debt and without stressing out. Learn what you can about the land that you're bugging out to. You're going to want to learn every edible thing that comes from this earth in that area. Whether it be weeds, flowers, bugs, whatever it is, learn the local wildlife. Are there deer? Are there squirrels? Are there rabbits? Are there elk? Are there, whatever it is that you can use as a resource, learn it. Don't wait till you bug out and be like, well, I killed a deer. Now what? You better know how to field dress that deer, how to skin that deer, how to quarter that deer. And the same thing from a deer all the way down to a squirrel. You're going to want to know what to do with that meat once you get it. It's just, you're going to have to know these things. Which that goes along with my next point. You need to learn and understand how to prepare foraged foods. And that goes right down to, there's a lot of foods that's, not meat that grow wild, but they're poisonous unless it's prepared correctly. Excuse me. And you would be in just around here. We have dandelions, cattails. We can make honeysuckle tea, pine tea, sassafras tea, all kinds of wild greens and wild onions and wild garlic. And it's everywhere here if it's in season. Now, wintertime, it's kind of sketchy around here. We do have the pine tea, and there are certain kind of inside layer of tree bark that can be kind of fried like potato chips and ate. But there's meat that can be hunted if you know how and know what to do with it once you get it. Okay, and well before you decide you're going to bug out. You're going to want to know all you can about building a shelter. Now, if where you're going's already got a shelter in place, great. But you better learn how to maintain that shelter. Because you never know what could happen. A storm come through, drop a big limb right through the middle of your shelter. Well, there you are. Or a tornado come through, level everything. You never know what could happen. I mean, we all live safe and secure in our homes now, and look what happens when a storm comes through. It can just totally devastate thousands of people, leaving thousands of people homeless. But most case scenarios, there's hotels, or, they open up gymnasiums and make, makeshift homes for people. Well, you're not going to have that in SHTF, okay? If your home gets leveled, your home's leveled. You are homeless. You will remain homeless unless you know what to do, how to build a shelter. Literally, how to take branches, sticks, vines, whatever you can to make a shelter. That's your only, that's your options. That's your only option. And you hear people, bug out bags, bug out bags, bug out bags. Yes, you are going to want to have a very well equipped bug out bag. Okay. But don't be overly dramatic about it. Okay. Like, you're going to want basic essential tools. Extra supplies, rope, any kind of cordage, anything that, like hand tools, okay? Not necessarily in your bug out bag, but you're going to want to have basic, non-electric hand tools, if you can get them. And I'm not saying everybody can run out and buy this stuff. Trust me, I know. There's a lot of non-electrical tools I still have to get my hands on. Okay? I'm trying. I'm building it slowly, But that's something you definitely want to work on, is having a good assortment of tools. Because you're going to be your own plumber, your own handyman, your own mechanic, your own whatever. Jack of all trades, master of none. Well, you're going to have to work on mastering them all, which, no one can ever achieve. But I'm just saying, you're going to have plenty of practice if this stuff actually comes down, okay, or goes down. And you're going to want to be as skilled between now and then as you can possibly be. Last, but certainly not least, is fire. Okay, there's all kinds of cool toys and gadgets and this and that and whatever to build fires with or produce fire with. It's not as easy as it looks as watching someone else do it on YouTube. Okay? Now, I'll be the first to tell you, a bow drill, I can't do it. I can't do it to save my life. For one, I got carpal tunnel so bad, it feels like my hands are going to fall off before that wood even starts smoking. Okay? There's just some things I can't do. A bow drill is one of them. Now, when it comes to a ferro rod and stuff, I'm pretty efficient. I'll make it. I'm very secure with knowing that I can do that. And of course, if you're properly stocked, you got lighters, waterproof matches, all this stuff. But that's, if you're brand new, you're going to want to look into this stuff. You can buy a ferro rod and striker or, whatever, relatively cheap. Okay? Of course, you can buy waterproof matches. You can buy lighters. But, if it never goes back to the way it is now, you're eventually going to run out of lighters. You're eventually going to run out of matches. You're eventually going to run out of a lot of things. So you need to know how to make something out of nothing. And fire is definitely going to be one of the top priorities on that list. Without fire, you do not survive. Period. I don't care what climate you're in, what part of the world you're in. Without fire, you will not survive. You can't cook. You can't purify water. You can't keep yourself clean. I mean, without water and, well, without fire, you have nothing. So if I was to, if I was brand new to this and brand new to the concept of bugging out and trying to get this stuff together, learning how to produce fire without an object that makes fire, like a lighter or matches, something like that, that's one of the first skills I would dedicate a large amount of time to. Now, for everybody, it's going to be different. You might pick up building a fire like that. A lot of people ain't going to. Okay, you want to know what kind of tinder to use, how to make tinder, where to find tinder. There's a lot of things that goes into every aspect of bugging out that if you don't know a thing about it, you better get on it and you better start studying like yesterday. Okay? And as soon as you get your hands on this stuff, like, a ferro rod or whatever, you start practicing. Okay? You can never don't be too sure of yourself. I guess is kind of where I'm going with that. Even if you are one of these guys on YouTube that, can survive in the bush for 3 weeks on a pack of graham crackers and a bottle of water, whatever, they still practice. I guarantee you they practice. Okay? So, just to recap a little bit, to bug out, you're going to want to plan the whole thing. You don't want to step foot out of your house until you have this bug out plan, and have ran it a couple times, and everybody's got their own thing to do. Everybody needs to be sure they know what they're doing. And, if SHTF and everybody's out at different places, be it school and work or whatever, you all know where to round up and head to. And, there's so many aspects, so many things that people don't think about when it comes to bugging out. Okay? And that's a large part of the reason why people are like, well, I'm just bugging in. I ain't leaving. You don't know that that's going to be your choice. You don't know that you're going to be able to do that. I guess you could say, yes, I know I'm not going anywhere, if you're willing to sacrifice yourself and your family. I wouldn't want to look at myself, knowing that that's what I did. And like I said, there are some poor, unfortunate people that have no choice, and we all need to pray for those people, whether it be elderly or just disabled or, whatever it is. There's some people that are stuck, If I could do it, I'd round up every one of them and try my best to keep them safe, but I'm one guy, But, like I said, you can rewatch this, if you miss something. And like I said, and there is one more thing, okay? And yes, it is a priority. It's a high priority. But out of everything else on this list, this time in this world and what we're going through, firearms and ammunition are a very hot commodity. Okay? They are at the top of the priority list. But they're getting damn hard to find. Especially if you don't already own a firearm and ammunition, you're probably not going to get it. Now, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just keeping it real. I'm telling you the truth. You waited too long. Okay? That's one thing. And I've talked to several different stores, several different people, on the inside of, ammunition sales, and it's not happening. There's not going to be any more for a while, So as far as becoming a new gun owner and this and that, and you can still buy firearms, but you're not going to have ammunition for them. The one thing that I know around here in my area, and I'm in southern Indiana, if you can get a firearm and ammunition, it's going to be a shotgun. And if you're going for a shotgun, I'd get a 12 gauge, because that's about the only thing I see anymore is 12 gauge ammunition. But that's really all. That's about it. So like I said, if you need to go back, rewatch this, or rewind, fast forward through, but I tried. Aside from the firearms, I can't stress enough how important these skills are to learn before you step foot out of your door. Because if you round up your family and you've bought all this cool gear and this and that and the coolest thing that you've seen on this video and that video, and you drag everybody out into the woods and you can't do a damn thing with it, you should have just stayed home. Period. Because like I said, if you can't find water or purify water or make a fire or excuse me guys, just a second. Or, if you have no knowledge whatsoever of survival, it's not just camping, folks. All right? Bugging out is not just going out for a camping for the weekend with a family. And I think that's a big misconception a lot of folks have. And that's why a lot of folks aren't worried about prepping. Like, well, I know how to camp. I can go do that. Bub, there's a big difference. You get to go home Sunday. Bugging out, you ain't going home, son. And there ain't no hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that. It's not all sitting around the fire drinking beer. It's real. Okay? And I can't stress enough how much of a process and thought needs to go into bugging out. Okay? Alright, well, I'll stop ranting on this. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. God bless each and every one of y'all. I love every one of y'all. And I will talk to you later. Papa Prepper out.